Welcome back to Behind the Caution Tape. I'm your host, CrashLit. USC sports are definitely starting to wind down, especially at the end of school. Seasons are coming to an end, but there's still a few things going on and definitely some awards that can still be talked about. So we're going to get into all that right here, right now. Currently on the road in Texas right now, so that's why I don't have my normal setup. So apologies if this mic isn't quite, sounds a little spotty at times, but I'll do my best with it. So let's start with some news from football, and it is the news that I think everyone was talking about last week a lot. Definitely with the news of just the potentially is the USC Notre Dame rivalry in jeopardy of continuing because, or in jeopardy of going away because right now the game that's happening this year for 2025 is on. And it seems like right now there's listed a game for 2026 on USC's website, but it seems like that's just a 1 year extension that USC is only comfortable offering due to they're not sure what the next edition of the 2026 CFP playoff is, but Notre Dame wants a long-term extension. And to understand where USC is coming from, while obviously I'm sure everyone's heard about the how they're doing the true seeding for the CF college football playoff this year in 2025, rather than giving the four first round byes to the highest four ranked conference champions like last year. The one thing that doesn't affect this year. It's next year. It's in 2026 when the current CFP contract expires, and they still have to agree to a format of how many teams. And then obviously, there's been all the talk about the number of automatic bids the SEC and Big Ten are trying to claim. So I think USC, I think, is looking for clarity. At least that's kind of how I'm interpreting the situation. That said, though, it's definitely, I mean, while you can understand where USC is coming from, definitely a lot of fans aren't happy about it. And one outspoken critic of the move is USC football alum Petros Papadakis, who did an interview with John Canzano on his radio show, The Bald Faced Truth, last week. That I tuned into. I listened to his interview, and it was a really great interview. I mean, he's a super funny guy, but he's not happy with it. He called it in his interview with Canzano, quote, disgusting and sad, and also he's basically just saying like he's also just said this quote in here too. So if you can't beat, and I quote, if you can't beat Minnesota or Maryland, what the hell are you worried about who's on your schedule anyways? You're not competing for a national championship or a Big Ten championship. And he also basically was arguing too that win or lose, that Notre Dame game helps your resume. So we'll see what happens here. I definitely think there's valid arguments to both sides. That said, though, I would really miss this series. It's a great one. You really see the Trojan family show out, and I've yet to go to South Bend for this game. So if I can make it work with everything that goes on with my schedule, I definitely want to get myself out to Notre Dame for the game this year, especially if it could turn out to be the last one. But definitely, I mean, well, definitely I do see both sides of it, but also definitely would be definitely a tough day. So we'll see what happens with what USC and Notre Dame if they can come to agreement. Notre Dame wants to continue it, but also we'll see what happens with the USC side of it. Hopefully they can keep it going because I think it's a great series. And then on to a bit of news from men's basketball. Congratulations to recent alum Harrison Hornery for signing with the Rockhampton basketball in Australia. So he goes back home to Australia to start his professional career. So best luck to Harrison and fight on, man. Bit of news from men's tennis. We're going to go into some awards right now, especially with less sports. I definitely want to try to highlight some of the accomplishments, something that can be tricky to keep track of, but with less news, I definitely figured to try to, talk about this a little bit, highlight some notable athletes. So congrats to tennis alum Peter Mock on being named an ITA All-American after finishing the season as the number 18 player in the ITA men's tennis ranking. So congrats to Peter. I think he's had a really great year, but definitely excited to see where his next chapter takes him. And then on to rowing. Four Trojans from the rowing team made the All Big Ten team. So Annabelle Aaron made the All Big Ten first team. Kiara Meakin got the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award. Garilee Hendrickson made the All Freshman team, and Alex Delisle made the All Big Ten second team. So congrats to them for, especially, and rowing, like I said, I've had a really cool experience with them, especially because they trust me in the boat this year with the team during practice. Kelsey Shadoin. She was like incredible, really welcoming. So definitely really happy for all of them and wishing them best luck next season when they return return out to the port. And then on to the next award is congrats to Emily Osmus and Tilly Kearns of women's water polo for being named Peter J. Coutinho award finalists. So it's the award that goes to the top top players in each conference. It goes to the top players in each. It goes to the top players in both men's and women's college water polo every year, or the winner is. So hopefully USC can get one. So best luck to both of them, especially as they both had really outstanding years, especially Emily Osmus coming as a freshman, then Tilly Kearns returning from being in the Olympics and just really having a fantastic year, leading USC all the way to the national finals. Then our final bit of awards before we get into a couple of teams that are still going is track and field. And congrats to track and field director Quincy Watts and to Quincy Watts, the director of track and field, and then Madison White on making the track being named making the Big Ten Outdoor Track and Field Championship Awards. So Watts was named the he got them to the so they both got awards and they were made it by the vote of the coaches on May 21st. So definitely congrats to both of them making that as well. So with Madison White also getting the Women's Sportsmanship Award for the Big Ten, and then junior Garrett Kalund getting the Men's Big Ten Championship Sportsmanship Award. But congrats to all of them for a great year and to keep it going. So up next for track and field, as they are still competing, the athletes who qualified are going to the NCAA West Regional in College Station from Wednesday from May 28th through the 31st. And it's just opportunity for USC to qualify and get to the NCAA finals, which will be in Eugene. So best of luck to them this week. And then finally, USC baseball also, or actually before we get to baseball, women's golf had their season come to an end in the quarterfinals of match play. But before that, they had day four. They finished fifth after day four of stroke play in the NCAA championships with a 4 over par, 1156 total score, and then set up a matchup with Florida State that was last Tuesday. And then for stroke play, before we get into the duel into match play, Catherine Park finished tied fourth, Jasmine Koo tied 17th, Cindy Koo finished tied 55th, Bailey Shoemaker tied 86th, and Kylie Chong, who was the non-counting scorer, finished tied 91st. And then in match play, Kylie Chong was the lone Trojan to win in match play, with USC ultimately falling 3.5 to 1.5 to the Seminoles. So USC's season is over, and it had 4 tournament wins, 5 individual wins, and finished top 8, finish at the NCAA championship. So congrats to them on an incredible season. Looking forward to seeing them. Looking forward. Best of luck to them next season. Then baseball also had 7 Trojans. So before we get into how baseball did in the Big Ten tournament, they had 7 Trojans earn Big Ten honor. So Ethan Hedges made the all Big Ten first team, Brody Purcell on the second team, and then Caden Aoki and Avery Covarrubias on the third team. And then Andrew Johnson and Augie Lopez both made the all Big Ten fresh team, and Andrew Lamb earning the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award, and with Aoki and Hedges also earning spots on the all defensive team. So congrats to them on a great year. And then now on to the Big Ten Championship. So USC went 1-1 in Pool D and took second place, and due to only the conference winner advancing, they did not get to advance to the elimination stage. So I did not go out to Omaha. So they lost 2-1 in their first game to Penn State on Wednesday. And because the Nittany Lions had beaten Washington the day before, that clinched the pool for Penn State. So they knew they were advancing, and USC was basically playing to try to bolster their resume for the NCAA tournament. But onto this game, PSU got a run in the first, USC got a run in the second. It was very much a pitcher's duel. Kei Naoki had a great game going 7 innings, 6 hits, only 1 run, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. But in the top of the ninth, Andrew Johnson, who pitched, I think, an otherwise really great game, gave up a solo home run to Nate Voss of Penn State, and USC didn't score in the bottom of the ninth. But one tough thing for USC was they left 12 runners on base. That's a lot of opportunities to score, and it's definitely frustrating when you can't get one or a few more of those across the plate. So USC lost their first game in pool play, but then bounced back to beat Washington 6-5 the following day. So USC got 3 runs and was up 3-0 after and was up 3-0 after by the fifth inning. And then in the top of the sixth, UW got had a 5-run sixth inning. And then USC got 1 run in the bottom of the sixth. But in the bottom of the ninth, with 1 out, Braden Dowd walks. Then Ethan Hedges singles to left. And then after Avery Covarrubias lines out, Adrian Lopez, who I have been high on ever since I called a game against this guy last summer. Since, for those of you who don't know, I called play-by-play for the Ventura County Pirates, and Adrian Lopez played for the Arroyo Seco Sentinel Saints, and a rival team in the a league rival for the club I called for. I just remember in that game I called, like, he had a great game against Ventura County, and then also when he was at Long Beach State last year as a freshman, I think he did pretty well against USC both times, if I am remembering correctly. But Lopez hits a single to right that scores both Dowd, and then Ethan Hedges with the ladder sliding in to avoid the tag and to walk off the win. So I'm really like happy for Adrian that he did that. He's been just a really consistent guy, earned his spot in the starting lineup. So it was really great to see him get that walk off and get to see his teammates celebrate, especially when they gave him the ice bath when he was being interviewed by the Big Ten Network after the game. It was great. And with that win, it was the win number 100 for head coach Andy Stankovic. So congrats to him on doing a great job in his 3 years here and getting USC back into the postseason. And yes, that's where we're going next. We are so back, baby, back in the postseason. And so USC finishes the regular season 35-21 and is set to go to the Corvallis Regional as the 3 seed, where they'll face overall number 8 Oregon, hosted by number 8 overall Oregon State. So their first game will be on Friday at noon Pacific time on ESPN2 against 2 seed TCU, who went 39-18 on the year. And then Oregon State went 41-12-1 on the year. And then the fourth seed in the pool is St. Mary's, who will face Oregon State in the first game, also on the first day. So who went 35-24. So congrats. So it's a double elimination bracket. So depending on how USC does, they'll face either the winner or the loser of Oregon State and St. Mary's, depending on how they do against TCU, which is Jack Basir's outfielder Jack Basir's former school that he was at last year. So he'll get to face them, especially after USC and TCU played each other last year too. So definitely going to be, I think it's going to be a great matchup for USC to just continue their season. So really excited for them. That game will be on ESPNU, like I said. So definitely, I think it's going to be, and then if they make it out and win the Corvallis Regional, they'll face the winner of the Tallahassee Regional in a best of 3, depending on who wins on that. And so because of that, USC is back in the postseason for the first time since 2015. And pretty much I'm really excited for them. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make it to Corvallis. We'll have to just see how everything plays out, especially because I'm in Texas right now, like I said. That's going to do it for us here on Behind the Caution Tape. I know it's a little shorter episode, but like I said, it's how things are just winding down. I'll definitely try to, find more information kind of off the field right now, especially to, keep them a little bit longer. But until then, definitely make sure to follow me on social media at CrashLit. I'll definitely be trying to watch as much of these baseball games as I can, especially I think I'll try to watch the first one. Be sure to check out my website, crashlit.com. I'll see y'all next week and fight on.